Julia Cameron. This is a 12-week exercise. I recommend that a group of you, at least 3, 5, however many, take this, look at it, and try to work together. Basically, it's a 12-week approach to just kind of finding the artist within, kind of get in touch or reestablish your connection, because so many times we get sidetracked or off course. Life happens, work happens, other distractions along the way. Kids happen, yes. This helps you kind of reconnect. What's his name? Tony Robbins, Awakening the Sleeping Giant Within. That's another book. These are technically self-help books, but if you're an artist and you want to connect yourself, these, not necessarily these in particular, but for me they work. For you, something else may work. Spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes thumbing through them at Barnes & Noble or something. Take a look at it. Something like The Artist's Way, I think, is a very vital way for artists to kind of connect to each other. One of the things about it, one of the tools that she uses is a thing called the daily pages. And basically, it's journaling. You get up in the morning and you write 3 pages, stream of consciousness, doesn't have to be about anything. You just put words on a page. And then there are guided exercises and observations and things that kind of help you kind of reconnect and kind of see things from a different perspective. You get so into, one of the things that I found interesting when I first did this several years ago was that when I would go to the train station, and I lived 12 miles from the train station, I would drive the same way every day. And one of the things that she suggests is take a different route. Go, see things differently. And just doing that kind of opens your eyes. You become more familiar with your surroundings. Walking from 42nd Street to 52nd Street, instead of walking straight down Park Avenue, if you go over and do 3rd Avenue one day, you get to learn more about your surroundings and yourself.
This might be a good time to go into our Q&A.
That's fine, yep.
In Shreveport now. I'm glad you're here, but do you have a project here?
Contact with Russ, because I knew I was coming back south, and I had seen a lot of the activity that Russ has had online with Red River Actors, and it was something that interested me. And I told Russ several months ago that I was going to be coming back to the south, and I'd like to kind of establish some sort of relationship with him and with this group, if possible. One of the things that I'm doing now, besides just trying to figure out where the next meal is coming from, or how I'm going to pay the electric bill, is
I have that problem too.
Yeah, well, see, it's a lot better to be starving in Monroeville, Alabama in November than it is to be starving in New York City in November. So I'd rather be homeless in the South than homeless in New York. But part of what I want to do now in this phase of my life is to establish myself either, from where I am, it appears that Atlanta, Nashville, and New Orleans are the most viable markets. And I know that New Orleans, one thing, Nicolas Cage and Danny Glover just did a film in Mobile last month, or 2 months ago. And some of the filmmakers, we did a feature in Andalusia 2 years ago. And we got to know some of the local filmmakers in South Alabama and North Florida. And so when I came back, I kind of connected with one of these fellows, and he was just livid with, you know, all the politics that was going on and how the people in Mobile were shutting out the rest of the people in Alabama, and it was just, you know, a closed shop. And, you know, I kind of think that's going to be the nature of the beast. And I mean, it seems like that might be something that you guys are experiencing with New Orleans.
Much easier for the filmmakers to get crew in New Orleans than it is here.
I mean, oddly enough, the casinos have contributed to some of the draw of, you know, when they want to film in the South, you know, but not enough. You know, not enough of a draw. So most people want to film in New Orleans if given the choice.
And the actors, the big actors want to go to New Orleans. You know, the Reputation, the French Quarter, and if they haven't ever been to Shreveport to find out what we have to offer, then New Orleans is the big draw.
Right.
Well, Rich, as you know, putting on the producer hat with limited resources, that's one of the things that you talk about is local hires, because you don't want to pay the, you know, the room and board and per diem, and
Right.
you know it adds a lot of cost to your production.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Film. It is easier to make a film now, but the costs sometimes are.
How to raise money to do a film? Well, Elizabeth Browning did a film last year called The Face, and she got a lot of free stuff. She got shooting in a hospital room, in a hospital. Someone, a hospital allowed her to go in and shoot in their location.
She herself was the subject, and then it was her having to come to terms with aging, and gracefully aging, and those, her family and those surrounding her, giving her the confidence, but her having to come to terms with having to, that her lines and her, you know, wrinkles and stuff was a part of her, part of her beauty, etc. So that was a, you know, obviously films it can be at a very, timing of something, and timing of that when she came out was very much when Dove and all these other cosmetic companies were really coming out about embrace your beauty.
Right.
So, you know, she got, you know, was able to get a lot of support from women's organizations and also commercial retail support and stuff.
And that's come afterwards.
Yeah.
And she and I took two totally different approaches to financing our films. I had some funds, I had some money that I'd saved, and I put my own personal money into this film. She had nothing, and she was able to raise money through, there's an online.
Kickstarter.
What is it?
Kickstarter.
Kickstart. She was able to raise some money through Kickstart. Spike Lee is still doing stuff through Kickstart. Someone recently criticized him, and he said, we were doing Kickstart, 20 years ago. It's grassroots.
So many of the young actors and directors are from Shreveport that are able to submit these films, and it makes you wonder how much, how they got the money or the funding to do a lot of it. Because with the amount of films and some of the quality of the work, it's going to take quite a bit of money. And you're not really going for the prize, you're going to get your work out.
No, you're going for the prize. You may not say it.
Well,
but
I
you're
mean,
going for
yeah,
the prize.
but once you get the prize money, by the time taxes and everything's taken, there's not much left, really.
But
I mean,
like
you
last
pretty much
year,
sink everything else that you won back into another project.
I did not
So-
realize it, but last year, even though it was first year of the Louisiana Film Prize, they gave, I think it was the top 10 films, seed money, so that they would come back and submit another film this year. I think it was something like $500 or $1,000. So they got a little incentive to come back and
the top
do
20
another film.
The top 20 each got 500, and then they had 3 others where they got seed money, to do another film. But I think there were only like 3 of those, and then you had the one that won 50 grand.
In terms of feeding a crew and, getting one location to another. Just a company move can cost you that much. You know, going from-
Rich, our last guest speaker, Rodney Hill, talked about how the distribution game has changed in recent times. You know, he talked about VOD and Redbox, and he talked about self-distribution, which
Right.
I would tend to shy away from.
Well, once you have a finished product, you know, and you've gotten some sort of festival play or some sort of notice there, it's like taking it to market, and people with short films it's a little different. Short films you're looking to get bundled in, you know, maybe a group of 5 films, and it's a package, and you know it's an hour and a half of entertainment. My experience has been in documentary, feature documentary. I did a thing called Eyes of the Mothman, that I was the narrator, and Matthew, the show that Matthew did, he put together this documentary about the Mothman. And there'd been a feature film starring Richard Gere years ago called Mothman Prophecies. Well, there's a phenomenon in this part of West Virginia and Ohio. This, you know, critter is out there. But
He's more than a critter.
it's a critter, I tell you. But so Matt did this documentary about the Mothman, and it's, you know, a 3-disc set, and you know he has distribution through Best Buy and Netflix, so he's satisfied, you know, with that. He's getting some sales, and it's better than direct marketing.
Well, back in the day, that wasn't available, you know.
Exactly.
That's what